everyone, it's me and I'm going to be carrying on with reading Floodland today. I really hope you've been enjoying it so far, so let's get on. "What are you?" said one of them. "Cats." Zoe sat in the wet mud where the three had thrown her. She'd only been out of her boat for a little while before they jumped her. Her head rang from a fierce blow and she felt confused. She was exhausted from rowing for so long. "Nah, she's not Cat," said another. He was tiny, much shorter than Zoe. "Cats are afraid of water, right? Reckon she's Pigs. She looks good in the mud anyhow." The third of them laughed. "What are you, Pigs?" said the first one again. He was obviously in charge. He was good looking, short, though not as small as the little mouse-like one. Zoe looked at them dumbly. They weren't making any sense. "Let's just scrag her anyway," said the third. Their leader ignored this. He turned to Zoe again. "Look, we're eels, see? Eels. This is our place. So what are you?" Zoe's head sang with pain, but dimly she understood what they were getting at. I'm not from here. I'm from Norwich, or what's left of it." They eyed her silently. "She's lying," said the third. He looked stupid and mean. "Let's scrag her. She's Cats, I'm telling you, or Pigs. Either way, let's just do her." "Shut it, Spat," shouted the leader. "Sorry, Doobie." Spat looked suddenly timid. Doobie turned to Zoe. "You're from over the water." He said it slowly, suspiciously. At last, Zoe fully understood something they were saying. "Yes, I'm from Norwich, but it's terrible there. There's hardly anyone left. They all went years ago. Some of us stayed and tried to make it work, but it's all over now." Doobie seemed to ignore most of this, but he said, "You've got a boat then?" "Yes, it's down. Yes, I have." Something stopped Zoe from telling them where she'd hidden it. Not for the first time, she wondered if leaving Norwich was the right thing to do. But then, she'd had no choice in the end. "A boat?" said the mouse-like one. "Yeah, I heard Munchkin," said Doobie. He turned back to Zoe. "Show us your boat then." Zoe hesitated. "Or we'll scrag you properly," said Spat. Zoe looked at Doobie. He seemed to be the boss. "Spat's right," he said. They stood looking at Zoe's tiny rowing boat. She'd been lucky. She'd headed straight towards the island and had found a good place to land. She wouldn't have been able to go any further anyway. Then she dragged the boat up as far as she could, tucking it out of sight beneath a huge old tree that had its feet in the water. It was dying, but it had enough leaves left on it to hide her boat a little. It was as good as she could do. She decided to walk along the shore and find an easy way up to the cathedral. And then, coming around the corner of a ruined building, her luck ran out. She walked slap into Doobie, Spat and Munchkin. "You came from Norwich in that?" said Doobie, looking at the boat and shaking his head. "Uh-huh," Zoe mumbled. "What does it say on the side?" "Leica," said Zoe. "It's her name." "Norwich is east, right? The big old city." "Yeah, so?" asked Zoe, wanting some answers. She wanted to know where she was, and she was very hungry. "You don't understand, do you? What's your name?" "Zoe." "Where am I? I just headed for that. This is the island of Eels, and we're the Eels, see? This is our island, and we're in charge. Now, Zoe, what we're wondering is whether you're telling the truth. Whether you've really come across Adden in that." He pointed at Zoe's little boat. "Norwich, you say? I didn't think there was anything left to the east. On the other hand, you might be Cats, or Pigs, or some other tribe, in which case you've come to try something on. Steal some food, maybe. Knock a few of us off too, maybe. So which is it? Cats, pigs, horses, or is this story of yours for real? Zoe wondered how she could convince them and what would happen if she failed. Look, I've never heard of pigs or eels or anything. Norwich is lost now. I found this old boat and did it up. I just started to row. I ran out of food. Don't know when. Then I saw that thing sticking out of the water. Zoe pointed over their heads, where behind them the huge old cathedral towered into the watery sky. Even though she stood on the land, where it did, it still looked as if it was floating on the water that was all around them. I just kept rowing. It never seemed to get any closer, but I got here. So you're not cats then? Said Munchkin. We don't know that, said Spat. No, said Doobie, but I believe her. So you don't belong to any of the tribes? No, said Zoe. Well, you do now, said Doobie. As of